Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Superpowers Year 4 by Drew Hayes. So in this review, I'm going to talk general non-spoiler stuff up front, and then we're going to move over to a spoiler section where I'm going to talk pros and cons and give a general summary and a wrap-up of the entire series because we have completed the Superpowered series. And yeah, then we're going to move on from there. So with that being said, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and let's begin. So, Superpowers Year 4 is the final year of the Mel Brooks crew in the HCP program. So, the question is whether or not they're going to be a part of the final 10 that gets to call themselves heroes by the end. So, after the events of last year, the attack on the campus, everyone is now dealing with it and stuff, and grieving over the losses and just trying to get their feet back under them and all that kind of stuff. And our crew is, of course, still dealing with the greater mystery that was the underpinning of the understory of the story itself, really. So now they're kind of getting really into that, and like information is being revealed, and now they get hard answers and all that kind of stuff. So now we get to finally figure out the answers to all the mysteries and stuff. So yeah, Year 4 is a really great story. I like it a lot. It's a great culmination to the whole story. The build up for it was done really well. The payoffs were really well. The characters continue to be written really well, and the pacing of the story is done really well. I think the pacing in book 4 is better than the pacing in book 3. There was parts in book 3 that I didn't really like. You can check the review that I have up on the channel, and I talk more about that. But I think book 4 is a great final book, a great wrap up to the story, and just a great example of writing from Drew Hayes. So that's all I can say without spoiling the rest of the story. So I definitely recommend giving it a read or giving it a listen. And yeah, so everything from here on out is going to be spoilers. So with that being said, spoiler warning. So in this book, we get the last little bit of the HCP program. One of the big things that was kind of hinted at all through the years, but like the students didn't know about it and we didn't know about it, but it was intramurals. In my head, I think about it a little bit like the Harry Potter Tri-Wizard Tournament, because it very much is kind of the same situation. Students from different schools all come together and they all compete. So it's kind of a Dragon Ball Z tournament arc, shown in anime kind of thing. And, so it happens toward the end of the year, and the last, they basically pick the top 5 ranking people, and at this point most of our main characters are in the top 5 ranking. So it's, of course, our people that we've been following get to fight in intramurals and get to be awesome badasses. So that's really cool. But also the main mystery that was teased at and all this stuff the entire time, we finally get to figure out what's going on with that. We find out Alice's mom is alive, and she's basically in a chemically induced coma and stuff in her husband's lab, where they're still trying to experiment and stuff and try to figure out basically ways to bring her back and get her out of this perpetual premonition kind of state that she's in. And, so that's kind of the main story that's going on, and I really, really like it. So one of my biggest pros of the story is got to be Alice. So Alice started off the entire story as just this spoiled little pompous little princess character who even had kind of a junky personality. She was always trying to manipulate and maneuver her way in a conversation, all this stuff, and try to be top dog and all this kind of stuff. It was all very much clearly a result of the way she was raised by her dad, this corporate tycoon, literally evil corporate tycoon guy and stuff, and very cold and distant after his wife and everything. So it makes sense that that's how she was. And she always was very insecure about her power and stuff. I mean, in this world, if you compare yourself to other people, yeah, it makes sense, because as someone who just can fly, as just simply a flyer, when you look at all these people with insane levels of telekinesis and all that stuff and energy blast and just as powerful as all her other classmates were, so it kind of makes sense that she would have been self-conscious and all this stuff. And the fact that she was her biggest critic about it is one of the things I really love, because in the second year, in sophomore year, when they're doing team sports, Nick, because from being from Vegas and everything, he uses a card analogy to rank their power. So, basically ranking everybody up and, to basically to better strategize and works out in analogies and stuff like that. So he had Alice as like a 4 or a 3 or something like that, like something really low, and she snapped super hard on him stuff because she felt like she was getting getting basically talked down to and was being made fun of and stuff, until she realized Nick gave himself a 2 because he considers his power even more useless, because like her power at least has multiple applications you can use it in, but uncontrollable luck, not being able to control it to the level that he eventually can control it to, it's weaker. So like I love the fact that like she basically keeps getting like she has all these misconceptions and her perception is always kind of off, and but she just has these good people basically shoving it in her face like, hey, we're not as crappy as you automatically assume and stuff. So like she kind of learns this stuff about herself, and she's no longer like spoiled, and she kind of sees her dad for who he really is and stuff, because she kind of more or less had a hero kind of mild hero complex of him and stuff, and like that's how rich upper crust people are supposed to be and all that kind of thing. So it's really cool to see she kind of became her own person and stuff, and she finds out more stuff about her mom, so it like develops her even more, to the point where when she goes home for Christmas, like it doesn't even feel like home, because like Mel Brooke is her home. And it's just, I love the development of her character. I love her entire arc, like going from A to B. Like it's just done so incredibly well. Everyone in the story has a really well defined, well culminated arc. I love, like Vince had a great arc, going from lonely and all this stuff, being by himself, isolated, not trusting people, always basically being a runner, and like being able to come full circle and being able to get close to people and stuff, and knowing about his past and all that stuff, and even getting his dad back, and then like no longer being afraid of his powers and stuff, and then actually getting the girl that like was his first kiss and stuff, getting her back, getting Camille back and everything, and even getting the closure with all the stuff with Thief, whose name I can't even remember right now because she was just Thief in my head for so long. So that's even really cool. Like his arc is cool, and like Nick's arc is awesome. He goes, being basically a heartless, soulless, like con artist guy, and like his arc, he had reached this point of emotional intelligence like a bit ago, but like him and Alice is together and everything. So I thought that was really cool. But like honestly, everyone has a really good arc except Mary. And it kind of makes sense because Mary knew everything about everyone from day one. So, because, when she couldn't control her powers, she was just, a telepath with, uncontrollable telepathy. So she basically got to know everybody. They all influenced her almost immediately when they went under the procedure and stuff. So she never really had to change. She just basically wanted to be with them and hang out with them and all that stuff. It even goes back to the very first book, because I was re-listening to it not long ago, and she was thinking before, when she was like hanging out just holding her teddy bear, she was already at that point thinking about the fact that she knew she was going to end up with Herschel. She like, if she ends up dating him immediately, then it was going to like, and she was going to become like a security blanket for him. So she decided not to like indulge in that immediately. So like she knew everything from jump. So it's very forgivable, in my opinion, that she basically has no arc. So another pro that I have is the culmination of the Alice mom storyline. The culmination of the way they, the mystery, the whole thing. The fact that like Alice's mom is almost a tertiary part of the entire thing. She's just in a chemically induced coma until they can perfect the procedure that turned everybody else into supers, so that they can do the same thing to her. But they still think that the procedure that was given to the kids will possibly have some issues. So like Charles Adair was basically not doing anything for a while. He was, still just holding it off to see if the kids will relapse or something like that. And so like but she's like she's not even the biggest part of it. She's the most emotional part for like some of the characters, but the fact that they engineered the situation where they killed a hero, killed Chad's dad, killed Intra, in order to take part of his brain, because he has that remarkable control of his entire body, because that's his ability. Like, so they were able to take, I guess, the chemical secretion that like basically allows that kind of thing to happen, because it's explained that all their abilities are physical, like there are physical changes to their biology and stuff like that, so it is very traceable. So the way in which she's able to control everything, I guess, was, it's in the brain enough to where that they could, mess around with it. So, because that's the source of the procedure, even though they never properly explain the way the procedure works. I guess they just add that kind of thing and rewire. I don't know. But so they engineered this whole situation to kill Intra. It's so terrible. But like the flashback we get of the situation is like mind blowing. It's insane. It's so good. It's so well done. I love it so much. I can't wait for some type of TV show or something because the visuals of it. Because as I've said before, Drew paints a really good picture with his writing. So I guess this will be my third pro: the reveal of the mole. The fact that there's been a mole in the HCP this entire time, reporting back to Globe and all that kind of stuff. And we find out it's the shapeshifter, Alex, in the class. And it makes so much sense because there was a point where he was wearing the body of Thomas, the guy who basically has Green Lantern type abilities, except his energy is orange. Like there was a point where he was imitating him going to a grave like of his parents and stuff, and then like got met up with Globe or someone else. And the entire situation had me thinking like, holy crap, is Thomas a bad guy? Like it confused me for so long. Like it confused me so completely until we got the reveal that it was the shapeshifter kid who was just wearing Thomas's body at that time. And so I thought that was really cool. And then the reveal that he's really intelligent and stuff, and then the reveal of his motivation. The fact that he's just another one of these people that got screwed over by the corrupted hero system, I thought was so well done. I thought it was just a really, really good example of how even in this world where we have literal superheroes, literal champions of goodness and justice and stuff, there will always be corruption from people in power. There will always be like these shady government people and like all this kind of stuff, and they will always just try to sweep stuff under the rug in order to save themselves for various reasons. And like there'll always be that kind of stuff. So it just kind of shows that like the hero's work is never done. It shows like these people have a bright future because there's always stuff that they gotta keep dealing with and everything. So it just culminates so well. I literally can't keep gushing about it because like that's all this video has basically been, is just me gushing about it. So I have no cons for it. The entire story is really well done. Every issue that I had with it like was in the third book, and all that's gone. Like it's great. And then this book ends with a great look forward, kind of how Harry Potter does. It's like 10 years later, they're all heroes. Some of them are heroes because Mary actually drops out of the program because she wants to be a therapist more than, she doesn't want to be like an active fighting superhero. She wants to be a therapist to supers because of, Vince's stuff. So like that super influenced her a lot to want to help heroes with their mental states and things like that. So that's really cool. Her being a deep level telepath. And so that's probably like that much better. So Mary didn't become a hero. And because Nick already got expelled, he wasn't, going to become a superhero anyway. So because he's already duplicitous and really smart and stuff that has control over luck in and of itself, and he's really well connected, he went into government. He became a freaking senator, which is really cool. And Alice took over her family company, and they keep producing a cure. So it was a great look forward, and I would love like for Drew to write like at least like a novella of something happening in the future, because there's one of the main prophecies that is a big crux of the story was the prophecy that Alice's mom saw, where a giant war breaks out between supers and humans and powers, and it's like a giant civil war, and it basically destroys the world really. And so the whole thing that she saw, she basically came out of it with this idea that the future has a chance, like something to the effect of we have a chance, like there's always hope if there's a chance or something like that. Basically saying the war can be prevented if chance is born. Not just saying like, there's a chance, but like the child of Alice and Nick, who they name Chance, who, as we see like in the last moments of the book, has time manipulation abilities. So he seems to be the first super to have time powers, and in any situation where some big event is about to pop off and he's there, he can easily rewind it and like fix it and all that stuff and prevent the giant global war that they're talking about going to happen. So while there's enough information there for us to draw a conclusion and assume, it all works out and it's all hunky-dory and stuff, I would really love for Drew to write a novella in the future where that situation happens and it's like, give us either a what if or, something. I just really want more stuff going on in this world. But that's just, the way they tell you to end it. Always leave them wanting more. So I guess he kind of perfected that with this series. So I can't really talk too much crap about it. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up. This has been my review for Superpowers Year 4 by Drew Hayes. So thanks for watching, and remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to you all next time. Peace.